Happy Tuesday, guys. Today's home workout is an AMRAP 18 choose your own adventure style of workout. So this means with this one, I'm going to give you the movements. You can do whatever reps you want and whatever sets and order you want to do it in. So box jumps, Sumo-Deadlift high pulls, Calorie Row, and bar facing burpees are the movements for the workout. If you don't have a rower, you guys can go for some double unders as a substitute. Jumping jacks also another good substitute for that. Or you guys can go for some shuttle runs too. So if you have about 25 feet available to you, you can go for some shuttle runs and substitute that for that instead of the Calorie Row. But the structure of the workout itself, you have 18 minutes to basically get as many reps as possible. I want you guys to do at least one of each movement that's listed for the AMRAP 18, but again, it's up to you if you want to do more of one movement or you want to even it out, you want to do a lot of one movement, up to you. So for example, you could simply just go 5 reps of everything and go for as many rounds as possible. Or it might mean, for example, just throwing out some numbers here, you go 100, 80, 60, 40, and then you do an AMRAP 18 of that. But you might want to play around with the movements, see what your movements are, you have the best cadence at, the fastest. Maybe you want to kind of adjust your order that way so that you can maximize your reps. Maybe 100 box jumps is really hard to do right off the bat, so maybe you just do sets of 10 for everything, or sets of 5 as I mentioned before. It's really up to you how you want to do it. Have fun with this one. That's the main thing here. It's like your own style of workout, how you want to break it up. You don't have to do the same number of reps for each movement as well. You can, for example, go 3, 6, 9, 12 for those movements. It's really up to you. Goal is to maximize the number of reps. And with the movements chosen for this workout, we're working on our aerobic capacity. So another thing to mention is if you do choose lower reps, you'll be working more on that aerobic pace, being more consistent. If you pick higher rep ranges, so let's say 20 and above approximately, you're going to be working more on your muscle endurance here. So I would see where you're more comfortable with if you find that you're kind of losing your cadence, you're losing that ability to keep on going, maybe you want to work on lower rep ranges and go for a lot of rounds. If you're more experienced, we can try to play around with higher rep ranges for this workout. And again, remember at the end of the day is to try to get as many reps as possible in 18 minutes in however order, movements, reps, sets, however you like. After this workout, guys, we're going to finish off with an afterburner with some core work, 20 seconds hollow, 20 seconds of that arch hold, and 20 seconds of that L-sit hold. So we're really working on that midline, both the front and the back, so anterior posterior chain of that core. And I want you guys to see if you can challenge yourself, hold it for those 20 seconds each time without breaking them up. I feel like the L-sit will probably be the hardest one out of the 3 there. So feel free to go into a knee tuck hold as well. And simply, you don't need too much equipment for this. If you have 2 chairs kind of available to you, you can kind of press yourself up and then tuck your knees up or your legs straight out in front of you to do that L-sit. Overall, hope you guys enjoyed today's workout and the afterburner. We'll see you guys next for the warm-up video.
Okay, let's get ready to warm up here. We're gonna start off today's warm-up with the 90-90 hip rotation. So opening up the hips. Really the 90-90 is to focus on your internal rotation and your external rotation in your hips. A lot of times, whether you're squatting, you're running, box jumping, anytime you're moving the legs, we're not necessarily moving effectively in our hips because the rotation in our femur, so your thigh bone, isn't necessarily recruiting all the correct muscles. What I'm trying to get at is your hip flexor, your psoas, to be specific, tends to get neglected. So this 90-90 really helps, guys, to open it up, loosen it up, and slowly start firing those smaller muscles. You start in your seated position, heels on the ground, guys. Knees are about 90 degrees. From here, notice how my hands are hip in line with my hips or slightly behind. You can play around with this. You're gonna drop your knees okay? If you drop your knees and you feel maybe it's a stretch, whether it's on either leg, hang out there, hold it, okay? If you can't touch your knee to the floor, just gently try to push down as your body relaxes. Now it might be tricky to see, but my knees are actually about 90 degrees, both of them. That's where the name comes, the 90-90. From here, I'm going to rotate my knees to the other side without lifting my heels off the ground. So notice how I'm just rotating, but my heels did not change position, okay? So now I'm feeling a little tight here, so I can feel the stretch myself. So I can reposition my hand. The key here is do not reposition your heels. It's really easy to like, yeah, I'm doing it, but you're actually not rotating through your hips when you're moving your feet. Okay, so you're gonna rotate in your hips, so this thigh for me is externally rotating as this one is internally rotating. So I'm feeling that rotation in my hips. Then I reverse the order. External rotation, internal rotation on the opposite side. The key here, guys, use this as a stretch. Feel the rotation in your hips. As you get more comfortable, come off the ground with your hands. See, can you not move your heels, but use that core to stabilize yourself. After you've done that, now let's get that heart rate going. Let's get those muscles fired up, guys. We're gonna go for 3 rounds, 30, 20, and 10. Alternating step up. So starting with 30, alternating step ups. You're gonna go up, step down, go up, step down. Trying to fire up the hamstrings and glutes on that one, okay? Stabilize your knee, so don't let your knee drop depending on how high your object is. Watch for that, okay? Once you've completed the 30, then you're gonna go into your push-up position. So your high plank. From here, shoulders over your wrist. You're gonna bring your knee to the opposite side. Bring your knee to the opposite side. You're going for 30 mountain climbers, crossing your body, getting your core fired up, okay? From there, my last movement, going for some bent over flies. So I'm using these 10-pound plates here today. I'm gonna hinge at the hips, so lean forward by sneaking my bum back. From there, my back is flat, and then I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades, bring it down. Squeeze my shoulder blades, bring it down. Do it until 30. As you squeeze your shoulder blades, don't roll forward. It's okay to bend the elbows slightly so you can maximize the usage of your upper back. If you have the flexibility in your bicep and your triceps and your back muscles, feel free to go straight, guys, but play around with it to make sure you get the most out of your back without lowering the plate down too much. So you're not doing this, okay? Trying to keep them in line to your shoulders. Once you've completed 30, you're gonna roll back onto your step up for 20, repeating your movement, working your way down on the last round, doing that final round of 10. Have a great warm up. See you next in the workout. Yourself an object, going for box jump for 15 box jumps. You can step down, or you can jump up and jump down, guys, as long as you're not doing this. Open your hips at the top in your jump.
Deadlift high pull. So today I'm going to use a kettlebell. You can use a barbell. You can use a dumbbell holding on to the one head of the dumbbell. Either way works. I'm going to get into a sumo stance, so my feet are going to be a little bit wider than my squat. My hips are going to hinge back. My shins are going to stay straight in the air, and I'm going to make sure those shoulders are nice and flat. From here, I'm going to start by pushing with the legs. I'm going to squeeze my butt nice and tight, shrug the shoulders, elbows come up. I want my hands a little bit above that collarbone to finish the movement. So again, hinge the butt back, lower with the legs, push with the legs, squeeze my butt. Use that momentum to drive my weight up. If you guys feel comfortable, you can start stringing them together. So I'm squatting down or deadlifting down as the weight comes down. If you're not super comfortable, stop at the top. Perfect on the way down. Pop your hip on the way up, stop again. Just working through whatever speed or range you're comfortable with.
Where do you position your rope for your burpees? Then from there, you're gonna go into your burpees. So 3 to 5 burpees, finding that rhythm of The speed is going to be, are you stepping into it? Are you jumping up for it? Play around with it. What works for you? Okay?
All right, hopefully you enjoyed that workout, guys. The afterburner for today is 3 sets, 20-second hollow hold, then 20-second arch hold, and then 20 seconds of that L sit hold. So for the hollow hold, guys, as I mentioned before, a couple different ways to get into it. You can start straight off the ground and get into it. I like to get into that pike position first. Tighten my core so I feel engagement in my lower abs and my rib cage is pulled down. Legs are tightened together, so I'm pushing them inwards and pointing them out as much as I can. Then I'm going to rock back, keeping that upper back off the ground, legs off the ground. Hands can be on my side or just overhead. 20 seconds here, guys. Really try to keep that engagement and shape consistent throughout. After 20 seconds, I'm going to flip over, get into that arch hold. So same kind of concept. Reach out as much as you can. Keep the legs straight, no bending the knees or the elbows. Lift the chest up, then the legs up, holding for that 20 seconds. Once you're done, we're getting into that L sit hold. Now, with the L sit, if you're comfortable, you guys can go off of an object to kind of lift you up off the ground. I'm going to show you guys kind of a basic scaling variation if you don't have any equipment to use for this, or you're still kind of building up that L sit position. So we're going to work from that pike position today. For that L sit here, legs nice and straight. With the hands, you can play around with how difficult you want to make it. You can be right by your sides or right out in front of you. You're going to keep the legs together, lift the legs up, and hold that for the 20 seconds. Again, you're achieving that L sit position, and again, really working on those lower abs to start building you towards a full L sit. So you guys can totally use that today as your progression, or if you like, get your hands a little bit closer to your feet to make it a little bit more challenging. Hope you guys enjoy the afterburner. We'll see you tomorrow.